How was your first day back at school from being sick?
That was so good. I didn't even cry.
No, Uncle said you did a fantastic job when he dropped you off.
Down, up, don't get up. Up, down, don't get up. I'm going to performance tonight. But tonight...
We have to find your stickers. Oh, right here. Here.
Can you show them?
So you forgot to put one here, and then you didn't go to school. Let's see. You didn't go to school here or here, so you need one here. So you need two of them. You need one for Thursday and one for Wednesday.
Oops.
One there.
Oops.
One there.
No, you can't get some for Tuesday.
Thursday, she forgot, and then today's Wednesday.
There's no more stickers on this one.
Okay, I'll throw it.
And then you get the other stickers?
Yep.
Okay.
Nope, nope. Yep. Good job. Look, today we are Wednesday. So that means you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 more days till your birthday.
Guys, but show them my...
This one decided to get undressed from the clothes I dressed her in today and get herself dressed. She put on these red shoes.
And the red socks, because they'll match.
And a red socks because they obviously match. And then a rainbow dress.
Put on it. And it's a butterfly.
Yeah. So she thinks she's a fashionista. Are you a fashionista?
I have a party tonight, so I need a...
What party?
At school.
And I can't go.
Sure you can.
I can go. I'm invited.
Yeah, that's it. Everyone could come in the whole place. Dad could come. But Dad taking me to school.
She thinks there's a party at school. So she's a little crazy today. But I'm happy she's feeling better. Last night was the first night in 3 nights that she didn't cough. Huh. Trying to figure out what to make for dinner. I think I'm just gonna do some chicken and some rice, some corn, or some veggies or something. I'm not really feeling dinner, but the fam has to eat. Braylon's school called us today that he was not feeling good. I think he was just playing to come home and watch TV. Are you sick or are you just faking it?
I have a headache.
No freaking problem, bro.
Uh-huh.
A millionth time.
Like
Hi, Addie.
Dad.
What do you have?
Who am I going to
Better not be no boys.
Yes.
You better not be.
Sorry.
Or go kick somebody in the face.
But you know,
Tell Dad that's not nice. We have to be nice to everybody.
this is my friends.
Boys can be friends, huh?
Boys have cooties.
At my school, they don't. They're not.
Yeah, they do at everybody's school.
No.
Yep.
No.
They only have cooties if they kiss, huh?
That's why you got sick. You got the cooties from the boys. Don't put that in your mouth.
Yuckies. Justin gives her a hard time about boys. Sorry, the heater's running. This guy, of course, is in his room. There's a cup behind you. Pick it up. And I always give the boys a hard time about girls. I know it's gonna get a point to where they're big enough to start dating, but I'm not ready for none of that. Oh, sorry guys, I'm trying to set up the camera here. Let's see if I can fix it. Let's see if I can fix you guys. Hopefully that works. So yeah. Ooh, that didn't work at all, guys. Sorry, you guys are a little bit wobbly. So yeah, just trying to work on some chicken. Put it in. But like I was saying, I like to give the boys a hard time about girlfriends. And I know Damon's already going to be an 8th grader next year. And Braylon's going to be a 6th grader. So I know it's coming up the pipe. I'm so not ready for it. I still think of them as these little guys. And I do have a hard time with it. So. Whoa. Dropping pans on the floor. Not a very good multitasker when it comes to trying to vlog and stuff. What happened? Did Titi drop them? She's making messes, huh? I think when they like bring home their first girlfriend, I'm gonna be worse than like those dads you see on TV with the shotguns. I'm gonna give that girl such a hard time. I just can't even think about it. I worked at the Teen Wellness Center for a little while at the high school, which was one of my favorite jobs I've ever had. And but it was like a big reality check. And so when I gave my oldest son the talk, I really went into detail about it. I think I scared him off a little bit, so I'm about to give him like the other talk, the cootie talk, about what you can get from being with girls. And so that's coming up this summer. And my husband gets super embarrassed, but I'm like, if knowledge is key, and as much knowledge as you can give them is better. And so I'm all about not holding back, and it's to a fault sometimes, but hey, you gotta be honest nowadays with these kids. So back on the subject about giving your kids the talk, my mom never gave us the talk. By the time I hit the change of life, or I went through puberty, I honestly don't remember. I have like short-term, long-term memory loss, and I joke about it, but it's like, honest to God, for real. My middle sister Ashley can remember things like that. Sorry, I can't remember anything until my sister will be like, "You remember this?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah," but I'm pretty, maybe she did, and I just don't remember. But I remember learning from girls at school. And then when Ashley went through the change, my mom was sick, and so she brought up the fact that there was nobody there to teach her about it. And I kind of feel bad because I wish she would have come to me and like asked me questions, but I was so caught up in my life that either she didn't feel comfortable, or wasn't approachable. I don't know. But I really want my boys to, and Juliana and Addie, to know like the whole thing, from getting hair to mood changes to babies to, I mean, you name it. And maybe I'll do a video about it. My boys are definitely not comfortable sitting down in front of the camera with it, but I even showed him a video. And so yeah, I mean, the more they know, the better off they are, because kids are gonna do what they want, and they don't need an excuse to say that they were never told or they're never explained. Same thing about drinking and drugs and anything like that. So yeah, I think that it's a good idea. Knowledge is best. I mean, when Juliana gets to it, I've already had 2 kids under my belt, so she'll get the whole slideshow presentation and everything. And you guys probably think I'm joking, but I'm not. I will do PowerPoint. I will do everything.
Did you
Want to take your jacket off?
know
She gets undressed when she gets home. Her socks and her shoes, if she makes it home. Usually by the time I get her out of the car, her socks and her shoes are already off. And so she wants to get undressed when she gets home. But I usually keep the heat like 68, 70. And so my mom, every time she comes, she says it's freezing, but it's comfortable for us. So I did put the chicken in the oven, and I'll just figure out something. I usually wing it. Maybe I'll do some green beans for myself since I can't have corn. I'll do a little bit of corn for them. Maybe some rice-a-roni, something. We'll figure it out. I'm usually pretty good about whipping something fast. Except that chicken's frozen, completely frozen, so it'll take a good 40 minutes to make. Who are you talking to? Is it? That's the one thing that's fun about Jules. There's a lot of things, but she has a really big imagination. And so she can have this whole conversation by herself and entertain herself. She doesn't need us to be around her 24 hours. She can go and play. She can figure out a conversation. And so she's really good about that, huh?
And so, like, you know how we have a lot of food together, so,
Just seems like yesterday we brought her home and she's already going to be 5. It's really, and my Damon's already going to be 13. I'm going to have a teenager. And to me, that's like, I can't process that. I can't process the fact that I'm going to have a teenager. I had him when I was 20. No, 19. I had him when I was 19. And just a little story. When I found out I was pregnant with him, me and my husband weren't even together. We had been broken up for like 2 months. And I found out I was no. Let me get this right. Sorry, I'm thinking. We had been broken up for 2 months, and I found out I was like 3 months pregnant. So I had just gotten pregnant before we had broken up and I didn't know. And I went on a trip for work, a training to Texas, and I was so sick, and I thought it was like the food there, the spices. I was just like not feeling it, and so when I got back, I for real thought I had food poisoning. So since I work at a clinic, I went to the doctor and told her I thought I had food poisoning. So she's like, well, let's just do the test, let's run some options. And she did a urine sample and came back in and found out, she said, I have some news. I don't know if it's good or if it's bad, but you're pregnant. And I didn't know whether to cry or laugh because I just didn't think about it. So I called Justin and I told him that I found out I was pregnant, and I didn't know how he was going to react since we weren't together. But he was very supportive, and I told him, do not tell your mom until I tell my mom. And I just couldn't whip up the courage to tell her. I was already graduated from high school and I had a job, but I was still 19. And I was a little disappointed in myself. So it took me like 10 days. I was like 10 days in and I still hadn't told my mom. And Justin tells me I had to tell my mom I couldn't hold it in anymore. I was like, you did what? And so after he told his mom, I remember going home and overthinking or contemplating how I was going to tell my mom. When it was a weekend, it was Saturday, and she was putting up the Christmas tree. It was in December. And I told her, Mom, I have something to tell you. And she looks at me and she says, you're pregnant. And I was like, yeah. And I started crying and crying. I couldn't even catch my breath. I was like the kids when they get injured that they can't stop crying. I was crying and crying and crying and crying. And my mom was just like, it's a good, like, babies are a good thing. Like, I don't know why you're crying. And I was like, please don't tell anybody. I'm not ready to tell anybody. I was like so terrified to tell my grandparents because they raised me for 6 years, 7 years. I don't even remember how many years. So I was more afraid to tell them. And so as people started finding out, I was just like in a denial mode. Like, don't touch me, don't look at me. Like, don't even ask about me being pregnant. Like, the whole pregnancy I was like that. And so when he was born, I was totally opposite. I was like, don't touch him, he's mine, don't look at me. Like, I was super protective, total opposite. And then when Damon was 5 months old, was it 5 months? 8? No, when he was 8 months old. When he was 8 months old, I found out I was pregnant with Braylon. and total shock. Like, I guess I just assumed I had a baby, I couldn't have another baby. And like naive, total naive. And so that pregnancy went by super fast. I was 4.5 months pregnant for Damon's first birthday. And I mean, we were living together and I wasn't married yet. And yeah, he was born in November. And right before I had him, my husband proposed to me. I'll do a proposal story. And then after Braylon, Jules,
I never got to do something.
and so yeah, after I had Braylon, I had just decided, like, let's not do anymore. Like, 2 was enough, and I had 2 babies before 21, and we love those boys, and we spoiled them like no tomorrow. And so I've been saying, let's have another one, and Justin's like, no, I don't think we're ready. And so finally, when Braylon started kinder, I had decided we didn't want any more. I was like, no, he's potty trained, he's in school, we don't have to find a babysitter. It was like, okay, we're good. And then I had the IUD, and the IUD is good for 5 years, 5 to 6 years. And so I had taken it out, and I said, I'm just gonna let my body rest. And then when Braylon was, I think I had it out for almost 8 months, and then I found out I was pregnant with Juliana. And so they're 7 years apart, or 6 years apart. And so she was a total surprise, but I loved being pregnant with her. She was like the easiest pregnancy and easiest labor. And I had mentioned in the last video that me and my sister were pregnant at the same time. And so that was super fun. She didn't like it at first. She was like, I just want to be pregnant by myself. And I was like, sorry, I didn't like plan it. It just happened. But we got to have like our baby shower together, and we got to have first together, their first giggle, their first walk, their first crawl. So it's been super nice, and I wouldn't trade them for the world. Like, having kids is one of the best things that's ever happened to me, and I'm grateful that I had babies with my husband, because he is a really great dad. He is super involved and hands-on, and couldn't ask for a better one. So I think I hit the lottery. Just quick stories I wanted to tell you about how I found out I was pregnant with all of them. And yeah, let's go check on some dinner. That one's still talking to herself. She'll talk to herself all night, and sometimes she'll lock herself in the room, and so if she doesn't want to be bothered, she'll just lock herself in the room.
And I got you. So,
There she goes.
like,
When I was pregnant with Damon, because I didn't like nobody touching my belly or talking to me about it, when I would fall asleep on the couch, I still lived with my mom. I didn't move in with Justin until after I had Damon. I would be sleeping on the couch, and my sisters and my mom used to be on the floor, had my shirt lifted up, and would watch Damon move in my belly, because I refused to let them touch my belly when I was pregnant. And so I would wake up and they would all be on the floor watching my tummy, and I would get so upset, and then they would sing to me, yummy, 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 I got love in my tummy and I'm just gonna eat it up. And it used to bug the crap out of me. Don't mind my singing skills, I'm not a professional singer obviously, but oh my gosh, it used to annoy me. And I think it was just being disappointed in myself and kind of going through some sort of like a, not postpartum depression, but a depression about it. But let me tell you, the minute he was born, I just loved on him and won't let him out of my sight. And with Braylon, I just didn't care. Like, you could talk to me about it, and I had already had a baby, and it was just, hey, I'm having another baby, accept it or not accept it, this is me. And with Juliana, Ashley got really big with Maddie, and her belly was like pointed. And with Juliana, she was my third one, and I didn't show that much for some reason with her, maybe because I carried her different. I carried her maybe wider than more out. And when my sister was in labor with Madison, the nurse, I was having like I called them sympathy contractions, but it turned out they were real contractions. And the nurse kept telling me, "Are you sure, ma'am, you don't want to go get checked? Are you sure?" I'm like, "No, they're just sympathy pains." And it turns out they weren't just sympathy pains. So all my labors have been fun and exciting and scary, and I've loved most of it.
Mom,
Was it?
where's my plate?
It's on top of the microwave.
Oh.
I didn't really love being pregnant. Like, I wasn't one of those women like, "Oh, this is the best thing ever in life." I had morning sickness, night sickness, all day sickness with the first one. With Braylon, I was just running after a toddler and just gaining a bunch of weight. I think I gained like 60, 70 pounds with him. So, and it took me a year, 2 years, 3 years to lose it. And with Juliana was a little bit more of a better experience, but the whole like, "Oh, I love being pregnant, the glow, baby's kicking," that was not me. Like, if you want me to talk to you about being pregnant, like how exciting it is to be pregnant, I'm not the person to talk about. I love the babies afterwards, and but yeah, pregnancy for me was not all glow and happiness. It was more like bloating and stretch marks and sickness and all this other stuff. But we wouldn't trade them, like I said, for the world. And we love them, and we just want them to stay little just for a little bit longer. And before you know it, 5 years, and Damon's going to be in college, and Braylon's going to be ready to go, and Juliana's going to think she's grown, and Addie's going to be, I just want them to stay little just for a little bit longer so you can protect them, or try to protect them as much as possible. I just wanted to tell you guys a little story time. Since I don't have a lot of footage, I thought it would be, you guys would be interested in my pregnancies, or how I found out I was pregnant with them. Maybe not so interesting to some people, but it's part of my life, and I'm showing you guys into that part. So I had to pick up the camera because
She's going crazy because she said something about chicken frisbee.
She made some bomb chicken carne seca.
And she said something about a chicken
I tried
frisbee.
to tell you guys the other day.
She said something about a chicken frisbee, so she's going crazy in her head.
sorry guys, but so in the last video, my husband was giving me shit because he says I make chicken carne seca.
You're shaking the camera. You're shaking the camera when
Oh
you laugh.
gosh. And I gave him such a hard time about it. But tonight I made chicken and rice and corn and green beans. I literally forgot about the chicken and forgot about the rice. And Juliana was trying to cut her chicken. And it's so overcooked that it became a chicken frisbee and flew across the kitchen.
Quit shaking the camera.
And my husband said that it was karma. Stop touching the camera, please. My husband said it was karma because I took credit for his pork chops the other night. But her chicken literally flew across the table because it's so hard. I think it's good.
You thought you were slick putting barbecue sauce on it to make it moist. It didn't work.
And then
You're making a mess.
Then I forgot about the rice, and so the bottom layer of the rice is a little well done. And so I literally burnt the dinner tonight.
Burnt chicken nuggets.
Cereal it is.
Thank you.
And the oven's still on. You want me to turn it off?
The oven is not still on.
Come here.
Guys. No.
Brandon, come here.
But I thought it was funny because I literally
Tell me, is that on or off?
messed up dinner, and I think it's hilarious because Hey, they don't like it, they don't
Now
have to
it's
eat
off.
it, but oh my gosh, it was funny.
That's because
she overcooked the chicken and it was chicken kind of sick and she's saying it's a chicken frisbee.
They're still talking about my dinner.
That's small a chicken frisbee.
What is it? Piece of chicken
Chicken
that's right across the house.
frisbee.
It was the funniest thing.
It's not that funny. You just
Dad,
So I thought I'd let you guys know that, hey, I screwed up dinner, but I still ate it. I still thought it was good. She's still trying to chop up her chicken. Just eat it like that, dude.
Little pieces first.
Oh,
I
if they're
pranked
hungry,
this
they
kid
can have
and
cereal
he's
later.
trash at Fortnite.
Anyway, hope you
He's
guys
trash
enjoyed my
at
little
Fortnite.
giggle fest. But I had to get on and share it.
Add it to yourself.
So hope you guys enjoyed. Subscribe, click the thumbs up button, comment if you want to know or you want to know another story or you liked this video, and click the post notification button, and that way when a live video goes up you guys will get notified. Thanks guys, thanks for watching, and talk to you guys soon. Bye.